News Paper Review. My name is Jeffrey Kimeo Somba or JKS. Please follow us as we unpack what we've prepared for you this morning. On our first story, political leaders under the Linda Mwananchi movement have criticized President William Ruto's proposed 2060 vision, questioning his ability to determine the country's development direction for the next 3 decades. Speaking in Kakamega County, the leaders said Kenya should have a greater role in shaping the country's long-term future rather than having political leaders dictate the agenda on their behalf. The leaders are opposing the plan ahead of its expected launch next Wednesday, arguing that the proposed long-term blueprint does not perfect or reflect the aspirations of all Kenyans. The political campaign also took a 2027 turn, with the leaders urging residents of Western Kenya to support Nairobi's Senator Edwin Sifuna's presidential bid in next year's general election.
Mimi namheshimu mzee anaitwa Nyongo, lakini mzee Nyongo, wewe ungengoja miezi 12 vijana wachukue hii nchi ndio tuletee hiyo plan ya 2060. Ukitaka kutuambia sasa imefaulu, utuambie umetoa mambo ya harambee ya kutoa watu wetu hospitali. Nikijia mafunga Malema, Kalonzo amefunga Eastern, Matiang'i amefunga Ukambani, kina baba Wino na Orengo amefunga kwa Jaluo huko. Unaambia Mheshimiwa Sifuna, ukiingia kwa kiti within 30 days rudisha hii industry ya mnyasi na wananchi wa mnyasi.
Kijiji ameniambia kwamba ameshikanisha mlima yote, hako na kura milioni 7, na ameniambia hako tayari kufanya kazi na Edwin Sifuna awe rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya.
Ruto ni muongo. Tulisimama hapa na yeye akatudanganya hii barabara ataweka lami. Ameweka. Ruto riswa.
Moving on, DCP leader Rigathi Gachagua appears to have shifted his position on Deputy President Kithure Kindiki, now suggesting that the Deputy President is no longer welcome in his political camp. The changes in tone comes just days after Gachagua urged his supporters to stop attacking Kindiki, arguing that he should not be targeted because he comes from Mount Kenya region. However, speaking today, Gachagua turned his attention to Kindiki, warning that he would be prepared to respond should the Deputy President face any political turbulence within the government.
Meona huyu Kindiki akisema, sina shida na Rigiji ndugu yangu. Siku alikuwa ofisi nilimheshimu. Tulikosana tu alipotoka akaniambia nitoke. Sasa Rigiji alitoka, siwedi walimtoa. Sasa nikuulize wewe Kindiki, wewe uliniheshimu namna gani? Na siku nimemaliza pombe ilikuwa imeisha haijaisha? Wewe ulitumiwa na Ruto kurudisha pombe kuua watu wetu, na alikuwa tu Ruto hataki hii jamii yetu hapa. Mchungaji umesema mzuri, you have burdened over 300. Zile ripoti mimi napata, mimi saa ingine silali. Hii watoto wetu wote vijana wamekwisha. Kwanza kuna ingine ile toka tulikuini mimi ngwete kamoja tu ya 50 shillings, watu watatu wakimeza chini. Kindiki ndio aliitwa na Ruto akiwa minister wa interior, akaambiwa hii vita Rigiji anafanya ya pombe sitaki mambo yake, because Ruto alitaka iendelee vijana wetu waishi. It is Kindiki who alisabaratisha hiyo vita dhidi ya pombe haramu. So unasema uliniheshimu namna gani na kazi nilifanya ya kusaidia watu wetu? Wewe ndio sabaratisha. So wewe hata kama umepata matatizo huko kwa Ruto, ukae huko. Hapana ita mimi ndugu yako. Kwa sababu hata ukiwa ndugu ya mtu unaweza muua uchukue bibi yake. Unasema mtu ni ndugu yake na umemuua ndio uchukue bibi yake. So tuko na shida ya hii pombe. Sasa huyu alikuwa anaongoza kikundi inaitwa Nairobi Sierra. Hiyo kikundi because imejulikana imekuwa dismantled. Hao polisi wote wametawanywa to go to different places. Nao wanasema wameumizwa wataongea. Sasa hao polisi nataka niwaambie leo, ndio evidence iishe, wasikuje kuongea hata siku moja. Watatafutwa wote moja moja, watauawa. Hawa wa Nairobi Sierra, wherever they are. Murkomen amesema watafutwe moja moja, wapigwe wote wa Eris evidence. So what I'm advising those police officers, muingie haraka, mutangaze, you confess what you did, museme nani alimwambia, then mukimbie kwa unit inaitwa witness protection, so that muchungwe, musiwawe. Mukiendelea kutembea na mumenyang'anywa silaha, mutaanza kuuawa moja moja. So what is happening, Reverend, in our country ni kwamba polisi ndio wanatumika na serikali kuua Wakenya.
Deputy President Professor Kithure Kindiki has criticized his predecessor and Democracy for the Citizens Party leader, Rigathi Gachagua, accusing him of using fear-based politics to advance his political agenda ahead of the 2027 general election. Speaking during a church service in Murang'a County, Kindiki said political leaders should avoid divisive rhetoric and instead focus on issues that bring Kenyans together. The Deputy President also urged residents to keep their distance from politicians he said were seeking to divide them over their political preferences and the direction they should take in next year's election. Kindiki called for political discourse centered on development, unity, and the interest of citizens, warning against what he described as politics designed to create fear and division.
Hakuna haja kutupania maneno machafu, kutupa mawe, kuchoma biashara zetu. Sisi zote ni ndugu. Tukae kwa umoja, kama ni mashindano tushindane kulingana na kazi ya kiongozi. Mimi nitoe rekodi yangu, mwenzangu naye atoe rekodi yake ili alifanikisha. Mwenye anashinda anakuwa kiongozi wetu. Mwenye hata shinda angoje, hata yeye ni kiongozi, kesho Mungu atamjalia. Na mimi nataka nikimalizia niseme ya kwamba mimi naomba kwa unyenyekevu hii jamii ya sehemu hii ya Kenya ambao tunaitwa watu ya Mount Kenya. Mimi nawasihi tuendelee kukaa pamoja tukiwa kitu kimoja. Na wakati kuna tofauti kidogo kidogo ya kisiasa, tuongee hizo tofauti bila kuhujumu umoja. And I am here to confirm that we will defend the unity of our nation with all our strength, with all our might, with all our resources, with all our intellect. We cannot allow the unity of our country to be undermined. We can also not allow the unity of our community, the unity of our region to be undermined. We will pay whatever price we need to pay to make sure that the community and the nation remains united. Mimi nataka niombe kwa unyenyekevu. Tuwe ni watu wa kuvumiliana, na hata kama tuko na tofauti kidogo kidogo ya hapa nyumbani, tusitumie hiyo nafasi kuvuruga amani ya jamii na amani ya taifa. Kwa sababu siasa ni mashindano ya uongozi na ni ya muda, na ikipita sisi tutabaki tukiwa jamii moja, tutabaki tukiwa taifa moja. Usitumike kuvuruga amani ya jamii, utusi mwenzako, upige ndugu yako ama mzazi wako, uharibu mali ya jirani yako, kwa sababu mambo ya mashindano ya siasa itapita. Wale watapita watakuwa viongozi wetu, wale hawatafaulu pia hao ni viongozi, watangojea siku ingine Mungu atawajalia.
As you're joining us now, this is Morning Live on EBN TV. Now moving on, Wiper Patriotic Front and Azimio la Umoja Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka has called on Kenya's opposition to put aside personal interest and unite ahead of the next general election. Speaking during a church service at Divine International Word Outreach in Nairobi's industrial area, Kalonzo said Kenyans expect unity, accountability, and clear agenda for national transformation from leaders seeking to govern the country. The opposition leader, who was accompanied by Wiper leaders, including Patrick Makau and Senator Dan Manzo, also challenged the church to play a greater role in addressing the challenges facing young people. Kalonzo said the church must help restore hope among the youth, many of whom are grappling with unemployment, limited opportunities, and uncertainty about their future.
Because the church in Kenya, allow me to say this, has failed to take its responsibility seriously. And some have gotten compromised. And because of it, the young Kenyans are feeling left out. Allow me to use this opportunity to call on our young Kenyan Gen Zs, young Kenyans, the ones we are looking after. Because today the headline news is 3 young girls in Naivasha, and I think outside of Naivasha, have committed suicide. What does that tell you? The church may not be communicating the message of hope to the youth, because when the church got compromised by those in rulership, and the young people come out and say, we want transparency, we want justice, we want a country we can be proud of. They got killed, they got shot, they are not even allowed to commemorate. I want to recommend, be a mission for all of us, a church in Kenya. Please look at what is happening. Our children are hopeless, they feel helpless because they are jobless, and they don't see a hope. And yet, Jeremiah 29:11, Madam Ruth, you referred us to us, that Jeremiah, God was telling him before he was born in mother's womb, he knew him. And he says that to give us a hope and a future. To give us a hope and a future. So we need to give the young Kenyans hope, and I'm sure God is going to give us, all of us as a country, a future. Don't be worried about opposition not remaining united. We must remain united, because it is not it's not within our power to disintegrate. If we disintegrate, the people have already gone ahead of us. So this is a people-led unity. Anybody is trying to exit will face the wrath of the Kenyan people, because this is a positive revolution. They say they are going to throw bullets at us. We don't retreat. Tunasonga mbele. They say you will not demonstrate, even though it's your constitutional right. We shall demonstrate anyway, as long as you are not carrying weapons to hurt each other, because that is our constitutional right. We say you will not steal the next election. We mean it.
Bungoma County Senator David Wakoli has called on political leaders to embrace peaceful politics that unites Kenyans instead of dividing them ahead of the 2027 general election. Speaking during a funeral ceremony at Wamalwa Kijana Secondary School in Kandui constituency, Wakoli urged politicians to put national unity and the interests of citizens at the center of their political activities. The senator, however, turned his attention to Bungoma Governor Kenneth Lusaka, accusing him of ignoring his calls to improve service delivery across the county. Wakoli cited recent governors and senators' performance rankings, saying Bungoma County was placed 29th, a position he said should raise concern among county leaders.
My heart is heavy. My heart is down. But let us condole in peace. Let us pray for this country. Kwamba siasa watu wafanye ya amani, siasa watu wafanye ya urejesho, siasa watu wafanye ya agenda ya kutetea mnyonge wa kawaida. Wale watu wa Bungoma walinipigia kura, my work ni kutetea pesa za mnyonge zisipotee, kuhakikisha serikali ya kaunti inafanya kazi kwa mujibu wa katiba, kwamba ushuru mnaotoa unachimba maji, unatengeneza barabara, unapewa watu scholarship, yote ambayo katiba inasema. Na jana Senate mmeona tumetoa scorecard. Out of the 47 counties Ile vitu wanaambia gavana wangu wa Bungoma, na mara anapinga, anasema kijana anafanya siasa bure. Report card imetoka. Tumekuwa number 39 out of 47 counties. It is a shame. It is embarrassing. But the Bible says, say the truth and the truth shall set you free. Na nyinyi Waanglikana, nimeona dada yangu Judy yako kwa kanisa ambayo mimi niko SK. Tulikuwa tunaimba wimbo kule Butere Shatsala huko ndani, wakisema na kila mtu atatoa habari zake mwenyewe mbele za Mungu, siku hiyo inakuja. Kwa viongozi MCS, governor, 2027 siku ya kiyama, kila mtu ataeleza yale alifanya. Hakuna kujificha, hakuna kujitetea nyuma ya makoti ya mtu. Kila mtu ataeleza kile alifanya. Kwa hayo mengi, naomba niwachie hapo. Roho ya siasa inaweza panda. Naomba Judy, harusi yake ya mwisho iwe salama. Mama yangu nikimkumbuka atulie salama. I've seen my potential was to be my brother-in-law. Be strong. Sio wengi wanaweza kuja kukiri mbele ya watu kwamba walipenda binti yao na ulikaa na yeye na ulikuwa unamtakia mema. Thank you for coming, and may the good Lord be with you as you chart a new chapter moving forward. Kwa hayo mengi niliambia
religious and political leaders in Kitui County have urged Kenyans to maintain unity, peace and stability as the country heads towards the 2027 general election. The leaders spoke during the consecration and installation of the new Catholic Bishop of Kitui Diocese, John Wandi, where they stressed the need for leaders to unite Kenyans instead of dividing them along political lines. Kitui Governor Julius Malombe called on political leaders to embrace the servant leadership, urging them to fulfill their responsibilities with integrity and prioritize the needs of the people. Bishop John Wandi, who has now taken up the leadership of the diocese, pledged to continue with evangelization and community outreach programs while empowering young people across the diocese.
Hata sisi tumeshauriwa pia kwa hayo maneno. You need to be humble, you need to be patient, and ya tatu ni lazima uwe tayari kupeana service katika nafasi ambao umepatiwa na Mungu.
I received this appointment with humility and obedience, and I promise to serve the people of God entrusted to my care with the dedication.
Bungoma Governor Kenneth Lusaka and his Busia counterpart Paul Otuoma have intensified their campaign to rally Western Kenya behind President William Ruto ahead of the 2027 general election. The two governors have expressed support for Ruto's bid for a second term, saying the Western region should back the president in recognition of the development projects they say his administration has implemented over the past 4 years. Lusaka and Otuoma dismissed the opposition, accusing it of lacking a clear and sustainable agenda to address the challenges facing ordinary Kenyans. The leaders contrasted the opposition's political approach with what they described as the government's development record, particularly in infrastructure and other key projects across the region.
Sisi kama governors wa Western Kenya tumeamua kwamba tutembelee pamoja, tufanye kazi kwa pamoja kuinua maeneo haya yetu. Hata hivi karibuni tutakuwa na joint media ili kila mtu, mimi nieleze ile kazi nafanywa Bungoma, Otuoma eleze hapa, Otitile ya Vihiga na Barasa ya Bungoma. Kwa sababu sisi wote ni mpaka tumetuweka kando, but we are the same people. So ndio sababu tumekuja hapa kutoa pesa tusaidiane na pia kueneza injili ya Mheshimiwa William Samoei Ruto. Na mumeona hapa Busia wale wamezungumza mbele yangu wamewaeleza ile ndoto ama ile vision ambayo tuko nayo. Tunataka hii infrastructure yetu ikuwe mzuri kusupport biashara yetu. Tunataka mashamba zetu zifanye, tutoke kuombaomba chakula, tuwe watu wa kutoa chakula na kupeleka mbali vile Busia ilikuwa inafanya zamani.
Tanza kuona maendeleo yanatondokea katika mfumo wetu wa broad based. So tunavyofanya hapa mchango, pia tunataka tuseme kwamba Rais William Ruto
That story brings us to the end of the first segment here on EBN TV, and this is Morning Life. My name is Jeffrey Kimayo Somba. We're coming up with the next segment, which is the newspaper review. Please stick around.
You are watching EBN TV, transforming your world.
Sports isn't just a game. It's passion.
He's done it. Jakub Mensik is the champion in Miami.
Drama.
Man, oh, come on now.
In the thrill of the unexpected. From the stadiums to the streets, we bring the game to you.
We bring you exclusive insights from the pros, bold predictions, and in-depth analysis like never seen before.
Get ready for the action, the controversy,
and this is bubbled over. Montez shown red,
and the moments that define greatness. The Scoreboard, where every game is the biggest game.
You've seen them on TV.
Nakushukuru Mungu wangu kwa kunifikisha hapa.
But do you know their stories? Come with me.
If people look at me,
yes,
even before they hear me, will they see Jesus?
Wezi ambia watu mimi am a worshiper, na wakati you are worshiping people can't encounter God.
Ukisoma hiyo inabidi sana katika ile maisha yako hata kama kwamba hauimbi.
Join me, Teddy Psalmist Mwana wa Ngolo Mosio, every Tuesday and Thursday from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. only on EBN TV.
Have you been believing God for more?
more faith, more clarity, and a deeper understanding of His Word. Join Reverend Felix Kavoy on Your Faith today as he shares powerful biblical teachings that will strengthen your faith and encourage your spirit.
What manifests in the physical, it was mooted in the spiritual. It is coming out from the Spirit.
Through prayer, worship, and practical insights from Scripture, learn how to understand on God's promises and walk confidently in your divine purpose. Catch Your Faith today every Tuesday and Thursday from 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. Don't just hear the word, live it, believe it, and experience its power in your life. Join Reverend Felix Kavoy on Your Faith today.
You are watching EBN TV, transforming your world.
All right, a very good morning to you once again, and welcome back to EBN's TV Morning Live. And this is the second segment, and this is the newspaper review. We've got the dailies and the Standard newspaper, the Kenya Sport newspaper, and the Daily Nation. We're starting off with the Standard newspaper with the top story with a question: where are they? Police officers on the run. Now we're looking at Karinde police post. Then we are asking Mr. Amin, these officers are in Kenya. They are killers. They have killed Dr. Mutiso, and you have confirmed they participated in the murder. Where then are you releasing them after Murkomen called you? It's a question from Rigathi Gachagua, former deputy president. There is a question there, and there are two police officers who are on the run. We don't know where they are after having done such an act to Dr. Mutiso. Now we're looking at Kenneth Kipkemboi. He's a police inspector. We're also looking at Collins Kiplangat, is police constable. Now we are looking at rogue cops implicated by the DCI in one of the most chilling murders in recent memory. Inspector Kenneth Kipkemboi and constables Elijah Kibelion and Collins Kiplagat are linked to the daylight plot, with Kipkemboi and Kiplagat now on the run. Former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua yesterday claimed that the officers were paid 1.5 million for the it, and that two of them were arrested but released after a phone call from Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen. The chilling question now is how officers entrusted with protecting lives became part of the execution squad, and why two of them remain free. Such a story from page 2, and we are doing a confirmation of the same, or a continuation of the same. Now, mystery deepens over whereabouts of officers linked to Mutiso's murder, and we're looking at a former DP. Gachagua claimed the officers were arrested and released after a call from CS Murkomen. He said one of the officers were seized within Thogoto area, while another was arrested on his way to Mombasa. Now, this is Karinda Police Station or police post in Karen, where Constable Elijah Kibelion was staying with his family. We're looking at also inset. Officers will recover pistols from Thogoto Police Post in Kikuyu, August 8th, 2026. We're looking at last Thursday. There's a story you can check for yourself. We're looking at enforced disappearances. Now, this presidency has watered down the reforms agenda, taking us back to the dark days when the police was an appendix of the executive. This is Peter Kiama Akietu, Executive Director. We're looking at Kiambu, where Gachagua is addressing Kikuyu Police Station. He's a base for killer cops. It's a continuation of the same story. You can check that for yourself. On some bad stories here, Joe Biden's prostate cancer battle highlights need for early diagnosis. Former U.S. President's prostate cancer has spread to his bones. Bone is the most common site of spread in advanced prostate cancer, affecting up to 9 to 10 men. Now, check that for yourself now. There is a figure I need to give you here. It's 3,601 new cases of prostate cancer reported in Kenya annually, representing 25.9% of cancers diagnosed in men. We're looking at road safety again here, but before we get to that, there is a story on health here. Striking nurses there, governors to hire replacements. Now, sometimes we just look at the jokes that we have in our country. Now, looking at striking nurses there, governors to hire replacements. Why should the replacements be done when they are not paid their dues? What about the replacements? Will they not be demanding what they're supposed to be, pocketing at the end of every month, or at whatever level or agreement they'll have tied on? So this is a big joke. Now, we're looking at road safety from the issues of health, where MPs back proposal for an independent body to probe accidents. You can check that story for yourself. We're looking at inside Ruto's 4 years of delayed and unfulfilled grant promises. Now, Ruto campaigned as the champion of hustlers, promising lower prices and better livelihoods. Nearly 4 years later, rising costs and new levies tell a different story. Now, we look at President William Ruto promised to reduce the price of gas of a 6 kg cooking gas cylinder to 500, a promise yet to be fulfilled. And you can see what happened in Olkalau, Nyandarua County, some few days ago. Gas yetu was delivered to the people of Olkalau. Now, this is the promise that people were given to the president before he ascended into power. I think the first thing we need to do is to look at the taxes, because 50% of the cost of fuel is taxes. There are 15 different taxes on fuel. This is William Ruto, the president of this country. Now, we're looking at Ruto's education gamble faces tough test. Many reforms remain unsettled, leaving the president with little time to deliver before elections. Varsities are in debt, while high schools grapple with inadequate capitation and teach. Now, check that story for yourself. That is also as part of a business story from page, lower part of page 5 of the Standard newspaper. Now, page 6, the race to stop Ruto ambitions meet add months of numbers game. Now, with just a year till the 2027 polls, Kenya's crowded presidential race is taking shape as Ruto seeks a second term, while opposition leaders jostle for influence, negotiate alliances, and weigh personal ambitions against the need to unite behind the one candidate. Now, we're looking at Nairobi Senator Edwin Sifuna and other Linda Mwananchi leaders arrive for a rally in Mumias town yesterday. Now, the 2027 presidential election is a complicated simultaneous equation characterized by non-knowns, unknown-knowns, known-unknowns, and unknown-unknowns. That is a statement from Dismas Mokua. He's a political analyst. Check that story for yourself on that page. Then we're also looking at part of it, the continuation of what was happening in Mumias yesterday, and part of it also is Ruto's scorecard. We're also looking at National Environment Management Authority, and this is NEMA. You can check it for you notice them. Now on page 8, we're looking at IBC sets 6.1 billion as presidential election campaign spending limit. This is a lot of money. Now for governor, senator, and county women member seats, the highest spending limit in Nairobi is capped at 181 million. For MPs, the highest limit is in North or set at 100 million. Now, something a briefing on at Homa Bay, leaders told to stop inciting youth. You can also check that for yourself in Machakos. Mwangangi eats at state house of state of arrest. Then we're looking at something here, political parties, we're looking at 24.4 billion ceiling. We're looking at the expense, and we're also looking at the limit where we're looking at transportation at 16.1 billion, advertising and media 2.5 billion, election agents 2 billion, administration 1.2 billion, then venues 375 million, then campaign personnel 332.9 million. Then security 285 million, nomination fees and charges 213.8 million. That's a very, very big number, and you need to know more of it. You can check on page 8. Then below we're looking at governance where Machakos residents suffer as county leaders remain locked in budget row. In Taita Taveta, Governor Mwadime rejects plan to set up memorial tree projects on KPA land. Page 9, UDA ODM talks that could shape the 2027 election. Now the high-stakes negotiations set to determine the future of party's 2027 alliance. Our talks will center on the running mate question, zoning, and combating patients. We are also looking at the interim ODM party leader, Dr. Oburu Odinga now, but took training back on despite Dell's standoff. 58 sex abuse cases now. Rape and defilement claims have intensified scrutiny of British military operations in Kenya. Parliament demands stronger accountability before the renewing the Kenya-UK Defence Pact, and you can see them pictured. Batuk and KDF soldiers take part in a simulated exercise on Aldaiga Ranch, Laikipia in 2018. Now, 20 cases involving British soldiers are currently under probe alongside one defilement case and 37 alleged gang rape cases linked to visiting forces. A story or a notice from the County Assembly of Kisumu. You can check that for yourself. Then page 11, we're looking at Sifuna vowing to crush sugar cartels in Western, where Senator is stepping up his 2027 presidential bid, quoting Western Kenya with promises to revive sugar, fight corruption. He is also positioning himself as a challenger to President William Ruto in next year's poll. We're checking at a notice here from County Government of Kakamega. Check it for yourself. Then also the public notice to the county government, or from the county government of Narok. The public notice. You can check it for yourself. An opinion on the Standard this morning. Those calling themselves experts and with experience are the ones who have put us in this all. But why can't Kenyans give the young a chance to see if they can change the country? This is from Edwin Sifuna, Nairobi Senator. Editorial this morning on the Standard newspaper: road safety enforcement must respect the rule of law. Now we're looking at the caricature this morning. It's very clear. We're looking at someone is trying to maybe applies for human rights, and one is being cancelled against right to life. Check that kind of an irony or that kind of imbalance here on this caricature this morning. We're looking at a reflection where xenophobic attacks, Ramaphosa cannot hide behind public anger. There's a story you can check there for yourself. Then on page 13, we look at the palaver we're looking, or it's a collection of stories. You can check that for yourself. There is also a story from Masharia Munene. He is an historian, so you can check it. Then there is another opinion here. There are some opportunities engaging diaspora key to success of economic diplomacy, and how negative politics frustrate Kenyans' first world ambitions. You can check that for yourself. Page 15, what's hot on X development as that in infrastructure, education, and what's hot on the web. This here names Dr. Mutiso's killers, so you can check that story for yourself. The last on this newspaper, the village is alive with children, but their mothers are nowhere in sight. It's an interesting story. Check it for yourself from page 16 of the Standard newspaper. Quickly to the Daily Nation. This is Decision 2027, 1 year to go. Now we're looking at Kalonzo Musyoka, David Maraga, Martha Karua. We're looking at President William Ruto, the incumbent. We're looking at Edwin Sifuna. We're looking at Fred Matiang'i. We're also looking at Rigathi Gachagua. Key electoral timelines. We're looking at August 10th, publication of limits for expenditure contributions and donations. Then December 10th, issuance of compliance certificate to compliant political parties. Then February 9th, deadline for public officers intending to resign from office. Then March 16, political parties to submit membership list to IEBC. Then May 9th, independent candidates to submit their names and symbols. Then August 7th, end of campaign period being 48 hours to general election day. May 29th, June 11 to June 11, nomination of political party and independent candidates. So these are stretched from 2026 to 2027 August. Now it's exactly 1 year to the August 10th, 2027 general election, when voters will decide whether to give President William Ruto another 5-year term or replace him with one of his opponents. Today, we launch extensive election coverage highlighting poll preparations, key campaign issues, the growing influence of young voters, and scrutiny of those seeking various political seats, and ahead of the 8th general election since the return of multi-party politics in 1992. This is a story you can see from page 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, and 11. So page 1, it's a comment, our solemn pledge to Kenyan voters, and this is a message you can read for yourself. Page 2 of the Daily Nation, we are looking at a titanic barrel where 2027 election is shaping up as closely contested race, with the president seeking a second term. Now 1 year to go, Kenya enters final lap to the next year's general elections. Now Kenyans queue to register as voters at the Independent Electoral Boundaries Commission offices in Nakuru on April 28th, the deadline for enhanced continuous voter registration. This is of April this year. Then we're looking at campaigns where IEBC outlines funding limits for contestants. The IEBC has proposed campaign spending limit of 4.44 billion for presidential candidates, governor, senator, and women representative candidates in remote counties such as Turkana will be permitted to spend the highest amount kept at 123 billion. Candidates contesting similar positions in Nairobi will have a spending limit of 117.3 million, while those in Marsabit and Wajir will be allowed to spend up to 114 million and 113.8 million respectively. Now the IBC has set a deadline for February for public officers keen to run for elective seats to resign. At least 4 cabinet secretaries have confirmed or confided to their aides that they intend to run for governor next August. As he seeks to get re-elected, Dr. Ruto will decide whether to retain Professor Kithure Kindiki as his running mate or succumb to pressure from his newfound partners in ODM to award the party, the position. Now, Ruto and opposition op force prepare to battle it out for the State House job as campaigns reach a high-stakes phase with political tensions rising ahead of the polls. Now, decision 2027, we're looking at some election campaign spending, overall spending. I think this is something I had given to you, and we're looking at the most expensive versus least expensive counties expenditure. We're looking at the most expensive than the least expensive. Now, that's something you can check for yourself. That now, presidential calculation, high-based tabulations put the aggregate spending limits at 47 counties, where we're looking at 2.39 billion, constituencies 5.27 billion, and counties at 5.64 billion. Average presidential limit is at 4.43 billion. Now, we're looking at some qualification here. We have men and women eligible to fight out for different seats. Now, Feb determines all this, and you can check that for yourself. Now, looking at page 4, we're looking at youth. The demographic has always been viewed as a generation large enough to shape elections, yet too disillusioned to consistently turn its numbers into votes. And this is all about the agencies. Then we're looking at from protest power to ballot power. Then 25th June 2024, this is the year agency protest gained momentum. Then early protesters detained more than 200. Then Parliament breach 25th June 2024. We're looking at 8,811,693 youth voters, and these aged between 18 to 34 years in 2022. We're looking at 39.8% share of registered voters aged between 18 and 34. This is translating to 39.8%. Now, youth voters by age group, we're looking at voters aged between 30 and 34. This is as of 2022. We're looking at 3.41 million. Then voters aged 25 to 29 as of 2022 at 3.36 million. Now, Gen Z and millennials registered voters, we're looking at 10.7 million. These are the millennials. Then we're looking at a figure of 5.4 million, and these are the Gen Zs. We need to make independent decisions in 2027, because now you can say politicians are using tribal rhetoric to divide us. This is from Charles Mutisia. Now, something at a glance, Kenya's 2024 Gen Z protest timeline. Now, June 18, I think this is a long one. You can check it for yourself. Then we're looking at election. Treasury says John Badi did not respond to inquiries on need to adequately finance the electoral body. Now, big crisis as IBC faces 33.5 billion shillings funding gap. Now, Treasury allocates 41.3 billion against 74.8 billion request as MPs warn the shortfall could undermine preparations for the 2027 election. Now, there are some figures here about managing elections, citizen engagement and participation, equitable representation, institution, resilience, administrative cost, and we're looking at the totals there. You can check that for yourself. Now, we're looking at some guidelines here where Commission maps out an electoral calendar, setting time frames and candidates, or for candidates, parties and officers. Road to D-Day strict timelines as country gears up for polls, and this is also decision 2027. Ethicon IB's chair is pictured there, and he has got a big exercise and a big try come 2027. August Samuel lawmaker dismisses critics who feel is experienced and lack capacity to lead the country. Sifuna has returned Mumias to the public. Check it for yourself. Page 7, we are looking at Nation Leadership Forum Decision 2027. This is 10th August 2026. This is today. UON Towers, Chanderia, all 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. We are seeing Geoffrey Odundo here, Group Managing Director and CEO, Nation Media Group. Douglas Kanja Kirocho, Inspector General, National Police Service. Renson Igonga, Director of Public Prosecutions. We are looking at Bishop Dr. Kefa Nyamweya Omai, Chairperson, and CIC, Jacqueline Mugo, Executive Director, CEO, Federation of Kenya Employees, and this is FKE, and Geoffrey Odundo is the host. We're looking at Tobias Alando, manufacturer, Kenya Association of Chief Executive. We're looking at Wambui Barire, the CEO, Retrack, then Franklin Mukwanja, CDM Kenya, Mole Musau, CEO, ELOG, then Victor Dede, Head of Programs Amnesty International Kenya. He's a panelist in this Nation Leadership Forum will be held in UON Towers, the Chandaria, all 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. Now we're looking at politics. The region has emerged as a crucial battleground in President's bid for a second term. Cash splash powers Ruto's Nyanza Chem offensive. Then page, we're looking at a figure of 10 million. Check it for yourself. Then page 11, we're looking at a demand here where remarks come in the wake of aggressive campaigns by a section of politicians to split the region into two. Kindiki urges unity, tolerance in Mount Kenya. Check that for yourself. Now, we're looking at something flimsy. Some of the cases are sparked by suspicion, bruised egos, or just misunderstanding inside Kenya's bizarre lawsuits. Trivial cases choke justice system. Check the story for yourself. There is a business information here on page 13. You can check that for yourself. Put an end to deaths of suspects in police custody. Women and leadership in multilateral spaces. Now page 15. Our solemn election pledge to Kenyan voters is a repeat from what we saw on the Standard newspaper this morning. Then we're looking at the caricature. We're looking at mystery killings investigations. We're looking at a police officer. We're looking at the suspect being awash in blood. So you can check that caricature for yourself. Now, village elders and return of old state. You can also check that for yourself. Then we are looking at some letters from page 16, and you can check that for yourself. We're ending there as far as the newspaper review is concerned this morning. Remember, this is EBN TV, and this is Morning Live, and that comes as the end of the second segment, the newspaper review here at EBN TV. My name is Jeffrey Kimeyo Somba. Thank you for watching the two segments. I wish you a very, very beautiful and a blessed day, and have yourselves a good morning.